Hi guys, this video talks about the much important, much needed topic, which is how to prepare for the CAT verbal section. This video is, trust me, a very long video because I tried to cover up everything which is there. Fine. So be with me for the next few minutes. I'll give you a complete overview about how to prepare for the CAT verbal section. And trust me, this will answer most of your queries which you have about the verbal section. Improving vocab is very frustrating because it's like going to gym. You cannot improve your vocab overnight. Fine. You cannot make a body overnight by going to gym in one day. Fine. It's a gradual process, and obviously it will take its own sweet time to improve yourself. It's not like maths. For example, if you're weak in maths in one chapter, you can study for maths for 2-3 days, that particular chapter, rectify all the formulas, and from next day you are done with this and you can solve any damn question coming in the exam. But here it's a gradual process. So we have to start step by step, one by one, going through all these areas. Alright. Alright, start with none of the questions discussed here are based on from actual CAT papers, but they are based on the previous year CAT papers. Alright, to start with, I want to start with the 2010 principle of verbal section. First of all, you should not be scared of the verbal section, especially engineers. They normally score well. If I give example of Priyank give CAT twice, first time 99.65 percentile, next time 99.395 percentile. Alright, I'm giving example because I met him last week only. 2 times, very good percentile CAT, but calls 0. None of the IIM give him a call because he was 99 percentile in quant and only 83 percentile in verbal. Fine. So what I'm trying to say is that you have to be good in both the areas. So please don't ignore verbal, and verbal is going to be ignored by everyone. If you are an engineer, you are weak in verbal, you will spend more time on quant because that's your strong area and you like to study quant. Non-engineers, BCom, BMS, BBA, they are weak in maths, so they spend more time on maths. Even the coaching institute spends 70 to 80% time on maths. That's why we have decided that at IIMking, half of the classes are going to be verbal. So if you are joining a weekend batch, which is Saturday, Sunday, Saturday we'll do verbal, Sunday we do quant, so that we do not ignore both the areas. Alright. Now, if I am weak in verbal, first of all, CAT verbal give you a very good opportunity that only 20 questions are going to be on verbal from verbal section, 10 questions are going to be from the logic section. That's the beauty of the CAT program, that you will get some percentile from the logic part. Fine. So you won't have to worry about these 20 questions. Alright. So if you overview, these are the questions which have come in the last few years. So last 3 years, if we talk about 20-21 questions from RC, from verbal, and 9 to 10 questions from LR. This is a clear-cut breakup. So that's what I'm trying to say. To justify what I'm trying to say, that you have 2 sections within one section of verbal. Alright, so if I go deep down into the verbal section, leaving the logic for the later on part, RC 11 question, paragraph completion 3 question, vocab based 1 question which can be fill in the blanks or vocab usage, word usage, grammar 2 to 3 questions, parajumbles 2 questions, critical reasoning 1 question. So these are your 2021 questions which are going to be in CAT. Fine. Now if I do an analysis on this thing, fine. RC, paragraph completion, parajumble and paragraph completion, which is combined these 2 things. 14 questions are going to be based on reading, including parajumble. If I add 16 questions out of 20 are going to be based on reading. We have to read. You have to read one full paragraph or a few paragraphs like in RC to get a few questions right. So what I'm trying to say is verbal section is going to be a lengthy section, wherein RC, paragraph completion and parajumble combined going to be 16 questions. So we need to work on these areas more. Fine. So that's why everyone recommend you the reading part. Try to read newspaper, read books. Fine. Why you have to read those things is this is the main logic for that. There are a lot of questions are based on paragraph. Yeah, vocab, grammar are the second important part. Will be containing 4 questions for that. Maybe 2-2 or 1-3 or 3-1 depending upon day by day. Fine. There is no link to the which section will be coming first. Alright, so this we're starting with a special cutoff clearing workshop for both quant and verbal. So these are the 6 workshops which I take for the verbal section, which I discussed here in this part. Alright, moving to the next part, this is a very important part. What is the material for verbal? Where to study verbal from? Fine, that's a very important slide. Alright, first of all, pick up the coaching institute notes you have. Fine, they will be good enough. Most of the good coaching institute have very structured notes. Yes, you can follow those notes if you have. Fine. Number 2 is newspaper editorials. Now, most of the time, everyone recommends Hindu newspaper or Telegraph or all the editorials with a very strong English. Fine. I don't recommend them to start with. I want you to start with the easy newspaper. Fine. Now, anyone who asks you study from Hindu newspaper, ask him in chat, did you study from that? And 90% of the time will be no. Fine. Because if you start with that, in a couple of days you start feeling bored because the English language is very, very tough. And you're not used to reading and all. Fine. So start with Times of India if you have Times of India coming to your place. Because Times of India articles are quite easy on words, quite easy on language front. So start with them. The moment you are becoming comfortable with them, then upgrade yourself to the next level. Fine. For example, right now if I am doing a Times of India editorial, it will take me complete 1 hour to start with to read from A to Z, complete editorial page. But gradually I'll increase speed. Now, for example, if I'm reading, I'll take not more than 20 minutes to read all the 5-6 articles which are there on the editorial page. Fine. So gradual process. Don't jump onto the Hindu directly. Let's go phase by phase. Next is a Word Power Made Easy book. This is a vocab book which is a very, very good book for vocab. So I want you to follow the book. It's again a good book. Fine. You can go for the IIMking level 1, 2, 3 books. What we done, we have divided the books into phases. Phase 1, 2, 3, which will help you start from the basics, then advanced level, and then go to the third phase. Fine. GMAT level PDFs you can follow. You can Google them online for GMAT, sentence correction, parajumble. The only thing you have to worry about is GMAT is American English, whereas CAT is following a British English. Fine. Just take care of that. The rest everything's alright, no problem. CAT last year paper from 1990 to 2013. Yes, including 2013. Obviously, it's not allowed to publish the paper, but we have given you the base paper. If you're a IIMking student or any other student, we have a free 2013 base paper which will help you out identify the last year papers. Yep. So you can go through them. Fine. What to avoid? Renan Martin grammar. Fine. I've seen a lot of faculty and the people recommending Renan Martin to improve your grammar cutting. Now, if you have a few months remaining for CAT, we don't have time for that, first of all. Second thing, ask again the person again, did you study that? Answer will be no. Fine. It's very easy to recommend this book, but trust me, this is not done. It's not a good book to read because we don't have time. And that's not the level of grammar we're talking about in the exams. Class 10, 12 notes, again I've seen a lot of people recommending 10, 12 books for maths and all. Please avoid them. If you are having IIMking 1 to 3 books, it's more than sufficient. They cover up everything. And again, avoid off-the-shelf publishing books. Fine. From the various authors and famous authors and publishers, because for verbal there is no famous author book which is in the market. Fine. So you can avoid them. So these are things I wanted to follow for verbal from the book's point of view. Alright, now if I go to how to study, again these are the 6 things you have to start immediately and together. Fine. Class notes, if you have IIMking books, if you want IIMking books, you can order them. Fine. Word Power Made Easy, newspaper article. These are the 3 main things. Followed by grammar, GMAT grammar, and last is a CAT papers. If you're going for IIMking books, you don't need the last year papers. Fine. So that will be more than sufficient. Yep. So these are the things I want you to start with immediately. So anyone who calling me how to improve my verbal, these are the 4 things. Fine. It's not an overnight thing. It will take time. It's like going to gym. Yep. Alright, so if you're joining IIMking, we have got phase 1 books, phase 2 and phase 3 books. So 4, 3 and 4, total 11 books you will get if you are joining us for the CAT or G100 program online or in class. Alright, let's move to the next part. This is a very, very important page, weak area. Now, what is your weak area? Fine, I hear from all my students normally that quant is my weak or verbal is my weak. First of all, verbal cannot be weak. Within verbal, there are some areas which are making you feel weak. Fine, so what I want to do is I want to pause now and identify for each area what is the weak area, strong area. For example, if I start from the bottom up, logical reasoning is no problem, I can manage that. Critical reasoning is no problem, I can manage that. Parajumble, comprehension, parajumble, all no problem, I can manage that. Vocab, fill the blanks, average. Grammar is my weak and RC is my weak. So these are my 2 areas which I identify as my weak area. Fine. So we have to work on these 2 areas now. Fine. Secondly, RC itself cannot be weak again. Within RC there are facts-based RC, inference-based RC. Fine. When I did this analysis after my CAT, I realized only grammar and inference based RC were my weak area. So only 8 questions out of 30 in CAT were my weak area. Remaining 22 I was average or strong. Even if I would have avoided, I could have easily got a 90.99 in CAT. Fine, this will be an example for any student, not my example, but in general. Fine. Whereas these 8 questions we need to work on. If you work on these things, then we can easily expect a 99, because I just want to score 3-4 marks here and remaining all these marks here, so that we score well. Yep. So please do your analysis yourself for where you stand. So please pause the video and do this thing. Alright, now I'll move section wise and talk about each of these areas again, and what are the CE workshops and shortcuts available for these areas. Alright, so now I'll go deep down one by one every topic. First we'll start with RC. RC is one of the most important areas. 11 questions in your paper are going to be based on RC. Fine, out of 20 questions, 11 questions are of RC. So this is no doubt one of the most important part of your CAT. And obviously will take most of the time as well. So we need to be very strict, very serious about this question. You need to work hard on that. Right, moving to the first most important part, I have to spend time on this. What do you think is more important in a reading comprehension passage? A fact or opinion? Now all over life, if you have done RC in school days, whatever, wherever you have done those things, even in some of the basic books, we always talk about fact. What happened to RCs, why this RC, why the author was, this RC was there. No one talks about opinion. Why this RC was written in first place? What is the author's tone? What is the main idea? Why author is writing all these things? Fine. I even have got a question CAT that what question will ask to the author in the interview after reading this article. Fine. All these questions have come, which is more based on opinion. But what I'm trying to say, the facts are out. Facts are just information about the RC. Fine. So stop reading RC as a reading RC. Try to understand. This is more important. Yep. So the trend has changed over the years. In my CAT paper, out of 11, 7 questions were based on understanding or inference based RCs. Only 4 questions were fact based RC. Yep. So we need to work more on that. These are my workshop. These are my main strategy workshop which I want you to follow if you are joining us online program. So start with the basic of RC key type of question, common mistakes, rephrasing the RC roadmap. That's an important, very important strategy. 1/3 strategy, TPSM strategy. In this video, I'm not talking about in detail about all the strategy only, but this is a more of an overview about how you should approach RC. So these are my strategy which I normally recommend to students. So what we have done, we have identified a strategy for every topic. Fine. So that we wanted to follow, which I wanted to follow. So looking at those things, we have started with these workshops, which will cover up all the things which I'm talking about. Fine. Next topic, paragraph completion. This is again a very, very important topic which is introduced in CAT off lately for the last few years. Fine. There you can expect 3 questions in CAT from paragraph completion. And these are my 9 workshop videos which you will get in the workshop which I conduct only for paragraph completion. Fine. Now it's one example in which what do you mean by paragraph completion. So you can pause the video and look at the example. As I told you earlier, these are all sample questions, are not based on the actual CAT papers. Alright, sentence correction is again one of the most ignored area by students, and 2 questions you can expect in your exam from this topic. And these are CE 11 SC 11, which are the 11 shortcut workshop which I conduct for the sentence correction. And this is a sample question which is there. Alright, move to the next part, para-jumbles. Again, you can expect 2 questions in your exam out of para-jumbles. And these are my 7 strategies which I normally use for that. And cause and effect is one of the very, very important strategies. Pairing strategy is again very important. And of course, our G strategy, which will be helpful for scoring good marks. Another sample question. Alright, move to the next part, fill in the blanks. Now you can expect 1 question out of fill in the blanks. The weightage of this topic have gone down. Earlier they used to be 4, 5 questions, but now the weightage have gone down. So 1 or max 2 questions you can expect. Now fill in the blanks is not a separate topic, but a part of the vocab only. So we will be covering vocab. And we have 2 strategies for that. One is ASS strategy and 1, 2, 3, 4 strategy. 2 strategies which I normally recommend for students to score well. Alright, example of the question where we can use the CSS strategy to solve the question. Alright, move to the next part, very interesting part, which is your visual vocab. Visual vocab is a very important thing we have at IIMking. For example, vocab, I approach vocab in 3 phases. Phase 1, doing word power made easy. Fine. So we have made 5 workshops out of which are based on word power made easy book, which will be helpful for you to get an overview about it. So word power made easy talks about the roots of the topics, which is again a very important part. Second is this visual vocab, which is decoding words. Fine. Visual vocab is teaching visual using vocabulary. Sorry, teaching vocab using visuals. Fine. That I'll show you example in just now. And third is decoding words. So these are the 3-phase workshop we conduct at IIMking, which are more than sufficient for you to crack the things. Alright, for example, let's look at the word ambivalence. What comes to your mind when you look at the word ambivalence? Fine. Now, how I want you to remember, I remember you to link it to ambulance driver. Now, whenever you see the word ambivalence, you come to the ambulance driver. Now, what do you mean by ambulance driver? Ambulance driver is always confused whether he should drive fast or he should drive slowly. So it's kind of a mixed confusion in his mind, because if he drive fast, he might meet an accident, do an accident, or if he drive very slow, then he might get late. Fine. So ambivalence is again same thing. Ambi is both sided. Fine. So ambivalence basically is confusion. So ambivalence linkage word is ambulance driver, who is always confused. Fine. So conflicting emotions, attitudes, or opinions. That is what they mean by word ambivalence. So whenever the word ambulance comes to your mind, all you have to imagine is ambulance. Fine. So this is the way we teach words. So this is very so what we have done, we have made pictures out of all the high frequency words which are very common in the exam. So all those things will be coming as part of the vocab program. Alright, this is a vocab usage question which have come in CAT earlier. So you can go through that. Alright, so these were the 12 workshops we have, main workshop we have for the verbal, and these are the total overall 6 workshops we conduct for the cutoff clearing workshop, and which will be more than sufficient for you to clear the cutoff for the verbal sections. RC, grammar, vocab, paragraph completion, critical reasoning, logical reasoning. These are 6 areas which you have to work on to get yourself in CAT. Alright, if you're looking to join any of our programs, you can call us on 9820500380 and add me on Facebook on facebook.com/ravgun, and we have a CAT Dream Team Facebook forum as well, which contains around 35,000 members, so you can add yourself to the group. Fine. All the best. Thank you.